Los Angeles, 1927. The desert has become a dream factory, and the whole world is watching. We're driving down Sunset Boulevard, past orange groves that still smell of blossoms, heading toward a place called Hollywood. Just 10 years ago, this was farmland and orchards. Now, movie studios rise from the dust like temples to a new religion. The studios, MGM, Paramount, Warner Brothers, these names mean nothing yet to most people. Soon, they will mean everything. We walk through the studio gates into a world where nothing is real and everything is possible. On stage 7, they're building ancient Rome. On stage 12, the Wild West. And on stage 4, someone's idea of the future. The air smells of sawdust, grease paint, and ambition. Everyone here came from somewhere else, running towards something or away from it. At the corner of Hollywood and Vine, starlets gather at Schwab's Pharmacy, waiting to be discovered over a chocolate malted. They arrive from Kansas, from Brooklyn, from small towns whose names they'll spend the rest of their lives trying to forget. Out here, the light is different. It's the reason they built the studios here. 300 days of California sunshine, perfect for filming. We drive through Beverly Hills, where mansions are rising on land that was nothing but bean fields 5 years ago. Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks built Pickfair on a hill where they can see the entire city spread below them like a kingdom they conquered. The stars throw parties that last until dawn, where champagne flows despite prohibition, and scandal is just another form of publicity. But tomorrow morning, they'll be back on set at 5 a.m. because fame in Hollywood is built on discipline disguised as magic. On Hollywood Boulevard, they're building movie palaces, Grauman's Chinese Theater, the Egyptian, temples where ordinary people come to worship beauty. We stand in line with shopgirls and mechanics, all of us waiting to escape into darkness and watch gods and goddesses move across silver screens. Inside, the theater is a palace of velvet and gold leaf. The organ rises from beneath the stage, and suddenly we're somewhere else entirely. The silent film flickers to life. We read the title cards. We watch faces 30 feet tall express emotions too large for words. But change is coming. In a screening room somewhere in Hollywood, they're watching a test, a film where people talk. The jazz singer. It will change everything. Some stars will survive the transition. Many won't. We drive west to the beach, where Venice has canals and gondoliers. An Italian fantasy built on sand and optimism. On the pier, the carousel turns, calliope music mixing with the sound of waves and screaming from the roller coaster. Bathing beauties pose for photographers, their wool swimming costumes still considered scandalous by some, liberating by others. At the Ambassador Hotel's Coconut Grove, the jazz is hot, the dancers are young, and the night is still early. We take a table near the dance floor, watching movie stars mingle with oil barons and bootleggers, everyone pretending not to recognize each other. Los Angeles is where America comes to reinvent itself. Here, your past doesn't matter, only what you can become. In Bunker Hill, Victorian mansions are being divided into boarding houses where screenwriters work by lamplight, trying to write their way out. We climb the stairs to a third-floor room where a typewriter sits by a window overlooking the city of angels and broken dreams. Downtown, Spring Street is lined with theaters showing Spanish-language films, serving the Mexican workers who built this city and are largely invisible in it. In Little Tokyo, Japanese gardeners return from the estates of Beverly Hills to modest homes where they maintain their own traditions. On Central Avenue, jazz clubs are opening their doors. This is the real heart of Los Angeles after dark, where the rules are different. Inside the Dunbar Hotel, Duke Ellington is playing, and the dance floor is packed with people Hollywood doesn't put on screen. Back in Hollywood, the night shoots are underway. Arc lights turn darkness into artificial noon and the cameras roll. On set, a young woman from Montana delivers her lines perfectly 20 times until the director is satisfied or exhausted. Her face will be 40 feet tall tomorrow. Tonight, she's just tired, removing her makeup in a mirror surrounded by lights that make her look like someone else. The Hollywood sign watches over all of it from the hills, spelling out Hollywood Land, an advertisement for a housing development that will never be built. We drive up Mulholland, the new road that snakes along the ridgeline, offering views that make you understand why people believe in manifest destiny. Below us, orange groves stretch toward the ocean. In 10 years, there'll be suburbs. In 20, subdivisions as far as the eye can see. At Olvera Street, the original pueblo still stands, a reminder that this was Spanish territory, Mexican land, before it became American. The mission bells still ring, though now they're competing with car horns and the whistle of the red car streetcars. We board the red car at 6th and Main, riding past oil derricks that pump away like mechanical birds drinking from the earth. This city runs on oil and dreams, both extracted from the ground at great cost, both promising to make you rich. At Union Station, which won't be built for another decade, the old plaza is still the heart of the city, though most Angelenos have forgotten. In Hancock Park, oil seeps through the ground at the La Brea tar pits, where mammoths died 10,000 years ago and still emerge from the earth. This city is built on layers: prehistoric bones, Spanish missions, Mexican ranchos, American dreams, each one buried under the next. At the Los Angeles Times building, Harry Chandler is planning the city's future, deciding where water will flow, where neighborhoods will rise. The Owens Valley water flows south through aqueducts, turning desert into orange groves into suburbs, suburbs into dreams of empire. On Wilshire Boulevard, they're building Art Deco skyscrapers, each one trying to outshine the others, reaching toward a sky that never seems to rain. As sunset turns the sky orange and purple, the city lights begin to flicker on, and Los Angeles becomes what it always wanted to be: pure light. We stand at the edge of the Pacific, where the continent ends and the dreaming begins, where Los Angeles promises everything and delivers just enough to keep you believing.